Hello. This book is Life 101 by Peter McWilliam. Peter was an active either organizer or member of a normal, I think. He'd gotten AIDS, and he had fought for the use of medical marijuana to treat people who the medicine doesn't work for, and he was also a spiritual seeker in his life, and he got hooked up with a cult. Don't know the name of the cult, but John Roger, you can look him up and you can research his cult, which is still active, if I know. But he got in real close with that guru because he had the spark. He had the spark of awareness, and was exploited in writing a series of books, the Life 101 series. Now, what he did was his labor of love and came from his soul, and it was really good shit. Or mystical, not mystical, but self-helpy, positive in nature. So that's what I wanted to read. Sorry, I'm feeling a little shy today. We're just reading a book here, aren't we? Okay, I guess that's it. The prelude. What if? What if life were perfect? What if you lived in a perfect world of perfect people and perfect possessions, with everyone and everything doing the perfect thing at the perfect time? What if you had everything you wanted, and only what you wanted, exactly as you wanted, precisely when you wanted it? What if, after luxuriating in this perfect world for the perfect length of time, you started feeling uneasy about the predictability of perfection? What if, after an additional perfect length of time, you began thinking, well, there seems to be a lack of risk, adventure, and fun in perfection. Having it my way all the time is getting dull. What if, after yet another perfect length of time, you decided, perfection is a perfect bore? And what if, at that point in your perfect world, you created a button called surprise? What if you walked over, considered all that may be contained in the concept of surprise, decided anything's better than boredom, took a deep breath, pushed the button, and found yourself where you are right now, feeling what you're feeling now, thinking what you're thinking now, with everything in your life precisely the way it is now, reading this book. This man was very fond of his quotes. Let me show you the big blocks. There's so many blocks of quotes. They either do or do not have anything to do with what he's got to say, but John Fisher says, "The essence of our effort to see that every child has a chance must be to assure each an equal opportunity, not to become equal, but to become different, to realize whatever unique potential of body and mind and spirit he or she possesses." Ooh, I like it. Barbara Canini, Barnaby Keeney said, "At college age, you can tell who's best at taking tests and going to school, but you can't tell who the best people are." That worries the hell out of me. We may or may not do those quotes. I just want to read. Welcome to life. I call this book Life 101 because it contains all the things I wish I had learned about life in school, but for the most part, did not. After 12 or more years of schooling, we know how to figure the square root of an isosceles triangle, invaluable in daily life. We may not know how to forgive ourselves and others. We know what direction migrating birds fly in autumn, but we're not sure which way we want to go. We have dissected a frog, but perhaps we've never explored the dynamics of human relationships. We know who wrote, "To be or not to be, that is the question," but we don't know the answer. We know what pi is, but we're not sure who we are. You may know how to diagram a sentence, but we may not know how to love ourselves. That our educational system is not designed to teach us the secrets of life is no secret. In school we learn how to do everything, except how to live. And maybe that's the way it should be. Unraveling life's mysteries and discovering life's secrets, which are in fact neither mysterious nor secretive, may take the courage and determination found only in a self-motivated pursuit. You probably already know there's more to life than reading, writing, and arithmetic. I'm glad you learned reading, of course, or you wouldn't be able to read this book. And I'm also glad I learned writing, such as it is. And arithmetic? Well, May once said, 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 and 2 are 4, and 5 will get you 10 if you know how to work it. And that's what this book is about. Knowing how to work it, and having fun along the way. Although a lot can be learned from adversity, most of the same lessons can be learned through enjoyment and laughter. If you're like me, you probably had more than enough adversity. After graduating the School of Hard Knocks, I automatically enrolled in the University of Adversity. I agree with Alan Watts, who said, "I am sincere about life, but I'm not serious about it." If you're looking for serious, pedantic, didactic instruction, you will not find it here. I will, with a light heart, present hundreds of techniques and suggestions, and for each of them I make the same suggestion. Give it a try. If it works for you, fine, use it, it's yours. If it doesn't work for you, well, let it go, and try other things that may. When you find things that do work for you, I advise you to follow Shakespeare's advice. Grapple them to thy soul with hoops of steel. Naturally, not everything in Life 101 will be for you. I'm laying out a smorgasbord. The carrot raisin salad you pass up may be the very thing another person craves, while the caviar you're making a beeline for might be just so much salty black stuff to the carrot salad lover. If I say something you find not true, please don't discount everything else in the book. It may be true for someone else. That same someone else might say, "What nonsense," about something which has you knowingly mutter, "How true." It's a big world, and we're all at different points. On our personal journeys, life has many truths. Take what you can use and leave the rest. If you take from this book 10%, any 10%, use it as your own, I'll consider my job well done. Which brings me to the question, who is the real teacher of Life 101? Well, we'll get to that shortly. And it's certainly not me, or I, as the grammatically correct among us would say. Second hint, it's definitely not me. For now, welcome to Life 101. When you were born, you probably had quite a welcome, although you may have been too young to remember it. So, as you begin this life, please feel welcome. Although it may be just a book, it's a book of ideas from my mind to yours. A book of best wishes from my heart to yours. As James Burke observed, when you read a book, you hold another's mind in your hands. So be careful. Here's to our time together, being intimate, enjoyable, and loving. Welcome. Marcel Proust said, "We don't receive wisdom, we just discover it. Or we must discover it, for ourselves after a journey that no one can take for us or spare us. It's quite wise. Okay, Fred Sanford says, "Didn't you learn anything by being my son? Who do you think I'm doing this all for?" Lamont Sanford says, "Yourself." Fred says, "Yeah, you learned something." Eugene Wilson says, "Only the curious will learn, and only the resolute overcome the obstacles of learning. The quest quotient has always excited me more than the intelligent quotient." Oscar Wilde, "Life is far too important too important a thing to ever talk about." Why life? What is it all about? Why are we here? What's the point? Is there a point? Why bother? Why life? At some point you may have pondered the meaning of life, and you came up with a satisfactory answer, which either has or has not stood the test of time, or you shrugged mightily, muttered, "Beats the hell out of me," and ordered another cheeseburger. The question which precedes, "What is the meaning of life?" is, of course, is there a meaning to life? Well, beats the hell out of me. I'm going to explore the first question as though the answer to the second question was yes. If it's true that life has no meaning, no purpose, then it doesn't matter whether I've consumed a few pages speculating on the meaning of life. So, let's play a game called Life Matters. He gives us a homework assignment after he ordered a cheeseburger. It said, "Watch a video of the Monty Python movie, The Meaning of Life. Very funny, very true." Well, he's also in my generation, so let me add, you also must watch Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail if you're going to be doing a Monty Python lesson evening. Da-da-da. And so we'll start the game by assuming there is a purpose. And the first question of Life Matters is, what is the purpose of life? Well, here's my answer. Life is for doing, learning, and enjoying. Doing. One thing about humans, we are doing creatures. When we're not doing something, we're thinking about doing something, which, in its own way, is doing something. When we sleep, we toss and dream. We exercise to keep our bodies in shape so that we can do some more. We are well designed for doing. Unlike trees, our bodies can move from place to place. In a matter of seconds, our emotions can move from happy to sad and back again. Our thoughts move us to places we can't go physically. Our memory moves us back in time. Our intelligence anticipates future movement. And our imagination takes us to places we've never been. As to nature, you name it, and humans have either changed it, processed it, painted it, preserved it, moved it, or done something to it. At the very least, we named it. We seem bent on rearranging the world. The theatrical director Moss Hart had a country home. He would visit on the weekends and request of his landscape designer that a few trees be put over there, a stream over there, and please move that mountain a few hundred feet to the left. When playwright George S. Kaufman visited Hart's home, he remarked, "This is the way God would do it, if he only had the money." It is often observed that, from afar, the doing of humans resembles the bustling of ants. We must occasionally wonder, what is the purpose of all this doing? We are not, after all, rocks, which don't seem to do much at all. We have the ability to do, but why? We must, of course, do in order to meet our bodily needs, which would not be as great if we did not do as much. But even after these needs are met, we keep on doing. Why? My suggestion, our doing allows for more learning. Excuse me. Ooh. Excuse me. Hey, this book might take a while. Anyway. Life is for learning. Learning what? You name it. There's a lot to learn. In just the first 5 years of life, we learned physical coordination, walking, talking, eating, going potty, interaction with family and playmates, and a great many facts about this planet, and all the things that differentiate a 5-year-old from a newborn infant. From 5 to 10, we learned reading and writing, arithmetic, geometry, history, science, music, sports. And when we weren't watching television, we learned some more about people, friends, relations, relatives, enemies, allies, rivals, supporters, detractors. Some of what we learned early on turned out to be true. The earth is round. If you want a friend, be a friend. Cleanliness is next to impossible. And some of it turned out to be false. Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, Kansas is more fun than Oz. Some things had to be relearned or unlearned. And while relearning and unlearning, maybe we learned what to do about disappointment. And maybe we didn't. Looking on most lives, we see the dramatic growth until about age 15 or 20. Then the growing stops, slows, or in some cases, regresses. Most people declare themselves done when their formal education is complete. And what is it about renting a cap and a gown, receiving a scroll of paper, that makes us think our learning days are over? It's not that there's nothing left to learn. Far from it. Commencement does not just mean graduation. It means a new beginning. The more we learn, the more we do. And the more we do, the more we learn. But in all this doing and learning, let's not forget the most important lesson of all. Enjoyment. We have all these quotes I'm skipping. You'll have to buy the book. Well, if you're my child or grandchild, you'll just have to get my bookcase. Some of these books, I wonder if they're even available. Oh, they've got to be. Mr. McWilliam has been gone for quite a while. He died. But he was much loved by many. And by me. One of my very first teachers. Enjoying. Joy is an interesting word. It does not have an automatic opposite created by grafting an un, dis, or in onto it. There's pleasure and displeasure, happiness and unhappiness, gratitude and ingratitude. But there's no unjoy, disjoy, or enjoy. Can you imagine the word in and joy? The old story comes to mind. 2 brothers went to ride ponies on their uncle's ranch. But the uncle insisted that they shovel a large pile of manure out of a stall. One brother hated the project, grumbling his way through a few half-hearted scoops. The older brother was laughing and singing and shoveling with abandon. "What are you so happy about?" the first brother asked. "Well," the second replied, "with all this manure, there must be a pony in here somewhere." And so it is with life. When life seems truly excremental, we can moan and groan, or we can, even in the midst of anger, terror, confusion, and pain, tell ourselves that there must be a lesson in here someplace. The trick, I think, is to learn to enjoy the process of learning. As Confucius observed 2,500 years ago, with coarse rice to eat, and with water to drink, and my bent arm for a pillow, I still have joy in the midst of these things. With an eye made quiet by the power of harmony and the deep power of joy, wrote Wordsworth, we see into the life of things. Life is a metaphor. There are many models for life, analogies, allegories, and metaphors to help us understand something as complicated, intricate, and seemingly ununderstandable as life. There is the Life is a Game school of thought, and many of its sub-schools, Life is baseball game. Life is football game. Life is like tennis. Life is chess. Life like Monopoly. Life is life as croquet. Life is like a game of whist, Eugene Hare pointed out some years ago. From unseen sources, the cards are shuffled and the hands are dealt. Josh Billings completed the thought. Life consists not in just holding good cards, but in playing those you hold well. Some believe life is an intricate machine, very popular in Germany. In Northern California, they believe life is a computer. Buckminster Fuller synthesized the two. The earth is like a spaceship that didn't come with an operating manual. Is life work or play? Karl Marx said, living is working, and Henry Ford, of all people, agreed, life is work. Disagreeing was Leon de Montaigne. Did you know once upon a time it was common for us to know how to pronounce French? We might not be able to speak French, but this would be easy. And also we knew a lot of phrases we used to say that were French, like you have joie de vivre, you got the joy of life. And we'd say it the French way because I guess it made it happier. So Mr. Leon said, life is but a play. And Liza Minnelli sang, life is a cabaret. Seneca said, life is a play. It's not its length, but its performance that counts. Well, what kind of play is it? Jean de la Boire Brouillet. I'm pathetic. Suggests that life's a tragedy for those who feel, and a comedy for those who think. Bruyere. I know I've heard it before. I've once heard it said that, look, if somebody can't pronounce something, don't be quick to make fun of them. They probably only heard the word because they read it before. So that reminds me of how when I understood what paradigm meant because I read about it, but when I tried to speak about it, I called it a paradigm. So pardon me. Kurt Douglas called life a B-picture script. Seneca to Kurt Douglas in one paragraph. Not bad. Shakespeare, of course, called life a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage. And James Thornburg continued, it's a tale, told in an idiom, full of unsoundness and fury, signifying nauseam. George Bernard Shaw also took the bard to task. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch that I've got to hold for just the moment. And there are those who like musical analogies. Life is something like a trumpet, the great W.C. Handy pointed out. If you don't put anything in it, you won't get anything out. Samuel Butler said, life is playing a violin solo in public and learning the instrument as one goes on. Ella Wheeler Wilcox sang, our lives are songs, God writes the words, and we set them to music at pleasure, and the song grows glad, sweet, or sad, as we choose to fashion the measure. One of the nicest literary analogies comes from the Jewish Theological Seminary. Life is a single letter in the alphabet. It can be meaningless, or it can be part of a great meaning. One of the greatest letters of the American alphabet, Helen Keller, proclaimed, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. George Bernard Shaw agreed, life is a series of inspired follies. The difficulty is to find them to do. Never lose a chance. It doesn't come every day. How about closing this chapter with life is food contingent? Life is an onion, Carl Sandburg wrote. You peel it off one layer at a time, and sometimes you weep. Life is like eating artichokes, T.A. Dorgan tells us. You got to go through so much to get to so little. Or sometimes it's more like Auntie Mammy pointed out, life is a life is a banquet, and some poor sons of bitches are starving. Don Marquis called life a scrambled egg. Make of that what you will, but then we could say that about life itself, couldn't we? What do I think life is? What model do I use to describe our time together? Please turn the page. Life is a classroom. It should come as no surprise that I think life is for learning, and I would view the process of life itself as a classroom. But it's not all dull, sit in little rows and listen to some preacher drone on and on classroom. Life is, and I'm sure you've noticed, experiential. In that sense, life is more of a workshop. I like to think the workshop classroom of life is perfectly arranged so that we learn what we need to learn, when we need to learn it, and just the way that we need to learn it. The operative word here is need, and not want. We don't always learn what we want to learn. In 10th grade biology, there was only one animal's reproductive methods I was interested in studying. But I had to start with the splitting of amoebas and work my way up. The biology teacher had a lesson plan different from mine, and so it seems does life. Life's lessons come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes what we need to know we learn in a formal way, such as taking a class or reading a book. Sometimes we learn in an informal, seemingly accidental process, an overheard comment in an elevator, a friend's offhand remark, or the line of a song from a passing radio. Don't worry, to be happy. I like to think there are no accidents. Positive lessons are not always taught in private. Positive lessons are not always taught in positive ways. Hands are cramping. A flat tire, hardly a positive occurrence, can teach us any number of lessons: acceptance, the value of planning, patience, the joy of service if another person has a flat tire, the gratitude of being served if another person helps you, and so on. We can also use that same flat tire to learn or relearn or re-relearn, or in my case, re-relearn. Depressing lessons. Life isn't fair. Nothing can be trusted. Anything can go wrong, and it will, at the worst possible moment. Life is a pain. Then you die. Nobody loves me. And you begin to see your role in all of this. The classroom of life is not 3rd grade, where all you will learn each day is neatly planned, including recess. In life, you choose what you learn from the many lessons presented to you, and your choice is fundamental to what you learn. There are any number of lessons we can learn from any experience, both uplifting and down-pushing. Experience, it is said, is the best teacher, providing, of course, we become the best students. Who really is the teacher? I think we'll finish it after this bit. Who is the real teacher? The real teacher of life is not experience. It's not overheard conversations or lines from songs or what you read in books or the people who wrote the books. The real teacher is you. You are the one who must decide, of all that comes your way, what is true and what is not, what applies to you and what does not, what you learn now and what you promise yourself you'll learn later. Have you noticed that two people can read the same book, or see the same movie, or be in the same relationship, and remember entirely different things? The best that life can do is present lessons to you. The learning is up to you. I can't do any better than life. All I can do is present certain points of view, possible explanations, and whatever I've learned from certain experiences. From what I present, it's up to you to say, yes, that fits. No, that doesn't. Or let me consider it for a while and see. If it fits, take it. It's yours. I just put words on something you already knew. If you listen carefully, you'll hear or sense a voice inside you. It's the voice of your inner teacher. Oh, I'll use the word voice, but for you it may be an image or a feeling or sensation or some kind of combination of these. But it might not be the loudest voice in there, but it's often the most consistent, patient, and persistent one. And what does your inner teacher sound like? It's the one who said, I sound like this. If you're like me, you probably have other voices answering that question too. No, I sound like this. No, there is no inner voice. Or more than one voice? Do they think I'm crazy? Inner teacher, how stupid. But through the din, lovingly, calmly, and perhaps a little amused by all the commotion caused by a simple question, the inner teacher reminds you, I'm here. I've always been here. I'm on your side. I love you. And okay, this one, and then we'll stop and we'll end it. And so I'll finish pick up tomorrow. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? What are those voices? Who's saying all that stuff? And why? And which you do I mean when I say you are the real teacher? Try a brief experiment. Take a moment and be aware of your body. Quickly scan it from your head to your feet. How does it feel? Are there any areas of tightness or tension? Do any parts feel particularly good? Is there any soreness or stiffness? Do you feel tired or alert? Now take a look at your emotions. Or perhaps I should say, take a feel at your emotions. What are you feeling? Excitement? Fear? Contentment? Irritability? Calmness? Emotions are often felt in and around the heart, center of the chest, and the stomach. What are you feeling there? One more bit of observation. Notice your thoughts. What are you thinking? Listen to your mind as it goes through its process. A study once said that we think 1,200 words per minute. How they counted the words, I don't know. How they translated the visual and sensory thinking we do into words, I also don't know. That figure does, however, give a sense of the continual chatter going on in our brains. And some Eastern traditions call this the monkey mind. Listen to the chatter for a moment. Now, one question. Who did that? Who noticed the body? Who felt the feelings? Who observed the mind? Maybe it was something other than the body, greater than the emotions, and more magnificent than the mind. Maybe that was you. We've actually already had a Zen teaching that spoke of this. This will be today's part. I'll probably continue. Mostly, I will, but I'll probably do it a little bit every day. Good night.